Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate, and it does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. That's the name, and that is the guarantee. Now, Barb, a lot of people go off those automated valuations that they see, like on Zillow, to try to determine what their home is worth. So how does a home seller decide what price to set when they are selling their home?
Well, it's quite an art. It's a craft, and pricing a home appropriately when you sell a home can mean the difference between your home getting the most money or it's sitting on the market week after week after week and slowly walking the price down and actually netting less money. And there's a whole bunch of factors that go into it. Location, the current market, the age of the home, the condition of the home, where the lot is, the improvements in the home, the neighborhood. There's all these different things. And I would say, when I go and talk to home sellers, they kind of know. They know what their neighbor's home is sold for. They've been in their neighbor's homes. It's kind of cool to hear what they have to say. All I have is pictures to look at, but many times they've been in these homes and they can kind of make the comparison on where they stand. But it's counterintuitive as to where you should price a home. A lot of people think they should just go straight to the top, as much as we can get, and build in a little fluffy room for negotiating room. But actually, that's a mistake, especially in a rising market. And the market's going to tell you right away if you got it wrong. If you're not getting very many showings, you're not getting offers, the market has spoken. You have to get it right. If you're pricing it right, then you're getting offers. And actually, the National Association of Realtors did a study about this, and they figured out that the home sellers that price their homes too high and then slowly walk the price down actually net less money. And sometimes it's hard to compare apples to apples. I was just in a beautiful high-end, almost new house last week, and we were looking at similar sales in the neighborhood, but the problem is the similar sales didn't have views. That was the wild card. Plus, the similar sales didn't have all the upgrades that he put into the home. The similar sales didn't back to open space. Buyers definitely will pay a premium for those things, but what is that number? And sometimes it's hard to tell. So we'll see how that one goes. But anyway, it's just, it's an art and it's a craft, and you really want to make sure that you hire somebody, you speak to people that do this, that actually sell homes all the time. I know we've talked about it before, Richard. I hate to say this, it breaks my heart that 81% of the real estate agents out there sell 3 or less homes a year. I really blame the industry and not them. It's not like they're not good people. It's not like they're not good agents. It's just that they haven't had enough at bats to get with customers, only because the industry is woefully bad at teaching them just the basics of real estate, things that people are expecting you to know, like how to market, how to handle objections, some closing skills, and how to provide great service to get it to the finish line. All those things are not commonly taught in the industry, and therefore a lot of people fail, and they fail quickly and they fail badly.
They don't even teach you guys how to negotiate in real estate school. That's one of the biggest things that people do, especially you. You're great at doing that, but you didn't learn it in real estate school.
No, it's a lot of hard knocks and a lot of flopping on the floor between agents. And, it's very interesting. I love talking to my clients about the showing activity as an example. Like many times they'll go in and the agents are trying to be their advocate, right? Whether they've signed an agreement to them or not, they're trying to be their advocate. So they'll try to point out some flaws about the home. And it's like, your job is to sell. How do you know these people don't love the house? You should be supporting their opinion, which is, hey, I love this, I love that. Oh yeah, and that's really nice, but they don't do that. They pick it apart. And many times I hear sellers tell me that they'll be standing out in front of the house, talking in front of their Ring doorbell, and they'll hear everything that they need to hear about the house, because, and a lot of times it's the agents talking smack about the house under the guise of this whole fiduciary thing, and it could backfire. So pricing a home right is really about positioning. You don't have to accept your asking price, okay? So you just want to be the best home in your price range. You want to be the home where every buyer in that price range says, oh my gosh, I have to see that. And once they look at it, they have to have it, right? And that is an art, and it's a skill that unfortunately not too many know how to do it. And you can't trust the automated valuations. They're just averaging everything around you. They don't know your improvements. They don't know whether or not you have views. I just had a home that sold for $75,000 over asking price because it had views. Pricing it right is a skill. Let me give you another example. I had a beautiful home we just closed last week up in Hawk Ridge, gorgeous subdivision, very expensive high-end home. But it had some a little bit dramatic colors, like their favorite color was peach. So it's definitely all over. And then when we decided on pricing, the range was $1,050,000 to 1.2 million. And some of their neighbors sold for 1.2 million, but they were brand new and more neutral, little bit more updates. So the seller decided to give us the reins for pricing, which is really fun. And so we priced at 1.15 million. We got 25 people, 25 groups actually visiting the open house. And within a few days of showing, we actually got 3 offers. So what does that tell me? That means we priced it right, and it ended up selling for $25,000 over asking price, even in that price range, because the buyers saw that as the best home available in their price range, and they made their best offer, except for one of those agents that it's on a Sunday, right? And she asked us to tell her if they made an offer, and then she goes, I'm too busy today to write an offer and make a $30,000 commission. So we said, okay, we'll send your buyer to us and we'll take care of them. You know, we wanted to make sure the seller got the offer, and she finally got it done, but it wasn't the best offer. She kept trying to get intel about how much the other offers were, but we can't tell them that. We can tell them there are other offers and to make their best and highest, and that's about it. So a lot of buyers will assume that you'll accept the asking price, but it depends on the competition. And there are some buyers that if the house needs work, they might try to justify their low offer, right? That may work and it may not. It really depends on the needs of the seller. So how do you know if you should actually price a home more aggressively? There are 2 situations that I typically recommend that they price it aggressively. One, if the home is on kind of a somewhat undesirable lot, like backing to a highway. I had a listing a couple years ago that actually backed directly to, like right in the backyard was the railroad track, right? So for some people it's an issue, but because they prepared correctly, priced it right, we actually had a bidding war and it sold for over asking price. Another issue would be condition, like if it needs work. It's another example, but you want to price it on the low side, considering that, okay, we know based on similar size homes that this home, if it was fixed up, would sell for more. And some buyers that are okay with doing their own work are willing to get a home like that at a lower price point. So if you go on the market, the number of showings are going to tell you if you got it right immediately. The market will speak to you immediately. How will it do it? Based on the volume of showings. I'm talking about in any price range, this happens. If there are no showings, you're way too high. You missed the price, okay? If there's just a few showings, onesies, twosies a week, you're too high, maybe 3 to 5% high. If you're getting plenty of showings and no offers, you're a little bit high, 2 to 3%. And if you're getting offers, you're right there, stay there. That's probably a clue that you just got to wait for the right offer. So the showing volume for sure leaves clues. Another rule of thumb is if you go 10 days with absolutely no showings, that means the market has rejected that home at that price. Or if you've had 10 sets of buyers look at your home and no offers, you're a little bit overpriced. What I find for most home sellers, based on their house situation, pricing the home, what I call realistically versus optimistically, almost always commands the most money. And it takes somebody that knows how to carefully evaluate similar recent sales, compare apples to apples, look at the competition, put the buyer's hat on so that you know when you go on the market, you're the best home on the market in that price range. Let me give you some examples of some homes that weren't priced exactly right. Here's one. We just sold it. And so originally when we met, they were going to do just light rehab, but he's a kitchen designer. So he did the whole kitchen, which looked fabulous. So we went right to the top of the price point when we activated, and we were getting lots of showings, but we were getting low ball offers or no offers. So all we had to do was just make a tiny price adjustment, 1%, and boom, it sold for full price. Here's another one where they really didn't want to go in and do a full-on kitchen remodel, but it was up there almost getting to $1 million. So in that case, I suggested they price it realistically, and they ended up getting top dollar, multiple offers, $75,000 over asking price. My name is Barb Schlinker with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'm the host of Your Real Estate Voice. And if you are thinking of making a move, you'd like to talk about pricing and how much you put in your pocket, give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice. 719-301-3900. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Time for a lightning round. Barb, tell us about some of your hot new listings up and down the Front Range.
Well, I have an adorable remodeled home in Pueblo at just 184. Another Pueblo right by the reservoir, under 400,000, a very elegant neighborhood. Beautiful home on 2 acres off of Fort Carson. A fantastic home on 5+ acres on Dodge Circle, right there close to Peyton. I've also got a beautiful home on 40 acres on Warriors Path in Peyton. And new to the market today, 2 fantastic homes. One on Westmoreland. This gorgeous home actually has spectacular views. Also a beautiful 2-story in Rockrimmon, D20 schools in the mid-6s, Warriors Path, and a stunning estate up in Florissant at $2.5 million. Plus we have all the usual suspects up in Denver, courtesy of Mr. Bill Watson, some beautiful townhomes and single family homes. To find out more, go to barbhasthebuyers.com and sneak peek coming up next week, a fabulous Pleasant Valley home under $475. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. You can always see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker, or listen to the podcast on all of the platforms, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, many, many others. Thanks for listening. And to reach out to Barb, again, call her at 719-301-3900. Memorial Day weekend. Barb, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yay, my favorite weekend, and all the blessings to my veterans.
Absolutely.